Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to one of my friends, and I'm glad he's my friend because if he wasn't, he is a member of the CSW Badger crew. He is El Machete. He is Richie Miranda. Richie, what's going on, my man?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to everybody. Talk to you as well.
Oh, man, it's been a while. We were kind of talking off air. I mean, it literally right before everything shut down, there was an LFA. You had some teammates
OC
fighting
Fight
on the car.
Club, yeah.
OC Fight Club, yes.
Yeah.
Joey Dorado, yeah, and Trent Moe.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Trent.
Moe, yeah, Captain Trent Moe, too. Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Dude, Trent Moe was a ninja. People forget about Trent Moe.
Yeah. No, he's an animal, man. He's an animal. He's always bouncing. He's full of energy, and he's an animal, man. Same thing with Joey, you know.
Joey, I mean, that's everybody in that gym, man. You talk about, obviously, we talked about Joey Dorado. We talked last night to Nick Mutea. You got Alandria Brown joining the team.
Little Badger. Ethan Nguyen, you know, so many to name.
And then you got OGs like, I mean, obviously, you got Coach Ben Jones, but, I mean, Melvin Wells.
Yeah, Melvin's in there every day with us, man. He's an OG.
Every day. Yeah. North of 50. And, he's killing it, man.
Yeah, man, yeah. He's fast, too, man. He has a fast jab. He's good with kicks, you know. He's a martial artist for sure. Glad to have him in the gym.
Absolutely, my man. So, I mean,
my other teammates, you know, shout out to them. Shout out to the whole Badger crew out there. Coach Ben Jones, Coach Paulson, Coach Dale, you know, thanks for coming in today. We got those boxing rounds in today. You know, feeling good, you know, confident, putting in work every day and getting better every day. And we see it as a team, you know, and the team's growing and everybody's just getting better and better every day, man. It just sucks there's not enough shows for everyone to shine and show their progressiveness, you know, but soon we're coming.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Amongst all of the other stuff that was the previous year, you know, that was 2020, you know, that's the thing, you know, I feel, and I kind of talked about it with Nick, I talked about it with Alandria, and I talked about it with Ethan when I had him on previously, where, you know, it seems like there's like out of necessity, a lot of amateurs, and it's not just at CSW, it's not just in California, but it's all over, you know, amateurs are essentially getting ushered into pro because
there's no Emmy shows, you know.
No, not at all.
No Emmy shows, yeah.
So,
but go ahead.
No, I was just like, you know, how has that kind of affected? I mean, the training is not different, but I mean, it's kind of hard to train for something, and you know, like you're running a race and there's no finish line. Essentially, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, luckily with me, after my last amateur fight, it was at Sparstar. You were there too. It was in January. So it's been a year since I fought. And pretty much after that fight, Coach Ben told me, you know, it's time to go pro. And I had a fight scheduled for OC Fight Club in April, but that got canceled. So, you know, ever since, we've just been – our gym closed down for 2 months. So I pretty much had to train on my own, you know. I was going to Coach Dale here and there. And then after that, we're doing half sessions. So one group in the morning and then one group in the afternoon. And then, yeah, man, we've just been putting in work, waiting for fights. But luckily, you know, I got this opportunity to go fight in my my college town in Kearney, Nebraska. So I'll be making my debut there, you know, February 27th. The main event, actually. On the main event.
The main event?
Yes, sir.
Whoa, son! That is tremendous, right?
I'm excited.
To go back again, you left Santa Ana to go to Nebraska to you know, right, and better yourself, and you get to go back to almost where it all started, right? As close to where it all started outside of Santa Ana. and do it and be the main event. You're
Yeah.
coming back to conquering hero, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, the funny thing is, it's I started my amateur debut was February 24th, and 3 years later, I'm going back, and February 27th pro debut. So it's been fun, man. It's been years in the making. Like me and Nick, we go on runs in the morning before practice. So we're always just pushing each other, and like we just tell each other the day was we've been doing this. This is something that's hasn't been like in a couple of years. It's been a whole lifetime, since the age I started wrestling at 14, and then just continued, and then now to going to be professional. Something I've always wanted to do as a young kid.
That's amazing, man. And there's so many things that is there that I mean, these kind of variables that I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
anything else, it would just be another day. But I mean, to have your amateur debut and your pro debut in the same place, to
Yeah,
go back to essentially where people, I mean, of course you wrestled at 14, but
yeah,
going to a collegiate level, in wrestling in Nebraska, where again there aren't too many. I mean, there's a lot of top tier wrestling programs in California on the West Coast,
yeah.
but nothing
Like the
is
Midwest, man. The
not
Midwest
the
is something
Midwest,
else.
not the
Yeah,
East Coast.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you get to go back, man. Like that,
yeah,
like you can get all of the, movie producers and screenplay writers, and you can't write
yeah.
a better story than that.
Yeah, no, I was. I'm actually really fortunate and lucky, to have really great coaches throughout my whole wrestling career and fighting career as well, and also good training partners. Man, I've drilled with and trained with national champions. Multiple national champions, state champions. So it's awesome, man. It's awesome. I mean, like, there's no recipe for anything. It's hard work, and that's all I've known. From growing up working with my dad all the time. I didn't get to watch cartoons in the morning. I had to go to work. I had to go fix cars. So that at a young
Wow.
age taught me that hard work is the only thing you got to do, and put in the work. Be smart, and dedicate yourself, and it'll pay off, man. Anybody that grinds, anything you do, it pays off in the end. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited.
No, and I love that you brought your dad and him kind of most people will say, oh, maybe he didn't have a childhood or what
Hmm.
have you, but I mean what it did instill in you was the sacrifices and the work and dedication that it takes to essentially be great on anything,
Anything you
right?
want to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah, I learned that from a young age. My parents were immigrants, when they came, and then they were finally able to get their process stuff and get citizenship. My dad worked for a shop for a long time, and then back in 2009, he got a shop with my uncles. So that's nice to see them. Same thing with my mom. She worked multiple jobs, and then she's always stayed working in hospitals. So now she has a pretty good position at Kaiser, where she does like sterilized processing. So she does like all the surgery cleaning tools, and they've set a good example for me, and that's the same thing I'm trying to do for my family, my brothers, my younger siblings, and cousins. Anybody. Just just
Well,
show them.
absolutely, which that means that you're in my definition, you are a great offspring of their American dream, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep.
Essentially do better than what you had before, coming from a different country, not knowing what's what, and it
Hmm.
happens, right? Like literally, on Ellis Island, back in, before there were cars, people
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
get shipped out from, Ireland and Germany and all these other places, and that's what makes everything great. I think because it's just like so many stories, such interwoven, human triumphs, right? That
Yep.
happen, and essentially what ends it up is now we have a person that is born here, right? My mom, same immigrant
Yeah.
from Fiji, right? My dad
Mhm.
is from here, but
Yeah.
immigrant from Fiji. But I'm essentially the votary of her American dream. All of her,
Exactly.
it's like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Joy Luck Club, right?
No.
Like it's a great movie from the '90s, but There's
I'll
a
check
moment
it out
where,
for sure.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
gotta do it. I mean, you're gonna probably be
Tear
grabbing,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But one of the, you know, one of there was one of the characters that has to abandon her kids, right, and leave them
Yeah.
as orphans and everything like that. And but then the younger sister grew up here in America and everything that America whatever. And
For school and stuff like that.
yeah, and basically they realized that the little sister, was essentially everything that the mother, who wasn't there anymore,
Hmm.
all of her hopes and dreams went in different ways to
Yeah.
each of the daughters, right? But
Exactly. Yeah.
obviously different lives. But I think it's beautiful, and all of that has bred the warrior that you are.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, I owe it to my parents, and also, like I said, I've been on great teams and had great coaches, and they just instilled, this mindset in me that I just gotta go, keep going, no matter what. You keep going. You keep going.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And this MVP right here, My Sketchy Artist 99. Shout
Yeah.
out to My Sketchy Artist. We got to build off of the sacrifices of what our parents gave to
Yeah.
us.
Yes, sir, man. If it wasn't
Abs-
for them, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So very
abs-
fortunate. Good parents. I love my parents. So shout out to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, you started kind of your, I mean, not kind of, but you started your combat sports career at 14. Now, what were you into? Obviously, you had been working with your dad. You didn't do the Saturday night morning cartoons, but what was
Yeah.
your life pre wrestling at that age?
I played a little. I mean, I'm Mexican, so you play soccer in recess. Unfortunately, I was never really able to do like sports because my parents worked so much. So it was just pretty much school, and then they pick me up, and I had to wait, do my homework or whatever. And then, but I always watched boxing fights with my dad. He would always take me to boxing fights. So I loved it. Every Saturday when there was boxing fights, we would go watch them. He would take me with him, and I always wanted to do it, but I just didn't have the opportunity and the chance, until I got to college. I mean, to high school. That's when I joined wrestling. But other than that, as a little kid, I was a pudgy little fat kid. I just played recess. Played soccer, little intramural games like that, but basketball and stuff like that. And then, yeah, not until high school I didn't start wrestling. So that's when my combat career started.
And what was it? I mean, obviously, you had reached a degree of, I don't want to say complacency, but you kind of figured out it wasn't going to happen, which it's funny. Your teammate, Nick Batea,
Yeah,
same deal. Like, he had, I mean, his sisters were stud soccer players, and
yeah.
he just could not get it, right?
Hmm.
So with that being said, like, what
Yeah,
was it?
we all got our own thing.
Yeah. So what was it
Exactly.
about wrestling that was just like, hey, that might be a thing? Or did you know it
Uh,
was going to be a thing?
no, I wasn't. So actually, I walked in my freshman year into my English class, my first class, and my teacher, Mr. Seals, was actually the wrestling coach. So he recruited me in. He's like, "Hey, man, you doing any sports?" He's like, "Are you just in PE?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, you should come try out wrestling." And I was like, "All right then." And then my neighbor was also on the wrestling team, so he was telling me like, "Yo, you should try it out. You might like it." And then funny story is I was telling Joey the other day too. We're because me and Joey carpool to practice, and I was like, dude, when like they told me come inside the restroom room and get the application, but I had to go after school. So they had all the doors like covered up with tape, and you can like barely see through the cracks. And I would look in, and I would see these guys like lifting and stuff, and I was nervous to go in, like just to break up their workout, and they're gonna look at me. So for like 2 weeks, I didn't go in. And then finally, I was like, dude, I'm gonna go in. So I went in, I got my application, and I mean, I really didn't know much about wrestling, and I'm super uncoordinated sometimes. So I was getting my butt kicked. Yeah, I was getting my butt kicked, and preseason tournament we had one in October, I believe. So I go to this tournament and I wrestled my first match. I had glasses, so I didn't have contact at the time. And man, I just remember it was like takedown after reversal, just points going everywhere, going everywhere. And I end up winning 9-8. So I won by 1 point. and I was so tired, so gassed. I was just like, but you know, at the end of the match, they raised my hand, so I was like, hell yeah, like, and then I don't know, that just instilled in me that, you know, I can use my will to impose my will on somebody else and break them and beat them. You know, it was just fun taking people down and, you know, just, you know, being mean, cross face, turning them, scoring as many points as you can, you know. And yeah, that after that match, it just stuck with me and I loved it. And yeah.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, there's so many things, right? But I mean, for you to experience such success very early on. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right from the jump, right? Even you might have not been in the best condition in terms of wrestlers, but
Yeah.
shout out to Mr. Seals because he knew. Like,
Yeah.
there's just there's some body types where if that
Yeah.
comes in your atmosphere, it's like that person needs to be on the mat. Like man, woman, child, whatever, they
Yeah,
need to be
he
here.
knew what he was doing, you know. He was like,
Yeah,
"Yo, man, you should come try it out." And he's like, "You might like it." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, PE sounds pretty fucking boring." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do wrestling," you know. Because I think I tried out for like soccer and basketball, but dude, I was not experienced at those other kids that have been doing it younger, you know. So, but wrestling, you know, wrestling taught me that, you know, just putting in work. And at high school, I wasn't really that great, you know. I was like a all right wrestler. You know, my senior year I was varsity in my junior year, and part of my sophomore year, my junior year, and then my senior year. And my senior year I just went to CIF and I made the second day, but that's about it. You know, it was just the sectional ones. It wasn't the state one. You know,
okay,
because there's CIF and then there's masters and then
right.
there's CIF state. So I just made it to the first one, and then after that, I still wanted to keep wrestling, and of course, my parents and my mom especially is like, "You have to go to school. You have to go to school." She's like, "If you want to wrestle, you got to go to school." So I enrolled in Santa Ana College, and luckily that's where I met Coach Silva. His name's Vince Silva. He's a state placer for here in California, and then he's a two-time All-American for OSU Cowboys. Yeah,
Wow.
for the University of Oklahoma. He was actually I don't know if you know John Smith. He was
Yes.
yeah, he was roommates with John Smith.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. So after college, I mean not after college, during college, so I redshirted my first year there, and then I competed in my next season at 149 pounds, and that year I ended up taking fourth, so I All American that year. And then the next year, I came in ranked number one. I was doing pretty good. You know, I lost a couple close matches. And then in the state tournament, because in California, the JCs, it's just one state tournament. It's not like
Mhm.
across like anything else, like all the other divisions. And yeah, I lost a pretty close match in the semifinals. So that ended up dropping me back to third and fourth. And the third and fourth match, I had this like arch nemesis, man. I would do anything to freaking beat him, and somehow he would still beat me by like a point or something, you know, like writing time, you know, like it was just. And that year I ended up taking fourth again, so I All American again. So I was a two-time All American at Santa Ana College, and then from there, one of my high school coach connected me to UNK. So that's University of Nebraska Kearney. That's where I wrestled Division II. I took a recruiting trip out there. I liked it. You know, I was trying to get away from California, see something different.
Yeah.
So and they're a really good team. You know, they're multiple national champions. You know, they produce multiple individual national champions, and then UFC fighters as well. Just fighters in general. They had Jake Ellenberger, both Ellenberger brothers,
Yeah.
Jens Pulver. Um, Currently, right now in the UFC, Kamaru Usman, the champ,
Yes.
he wrestled there. He was a national champ there. Then you got Rafion Stotts. I'm pretty sure you know
Yeah.
him. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
he was.
Absolutely. I did.
Yeah,
He's a friend of the show.
yeah. He wrestled there too. And then one that I really got to meet and hang around with, his name is Romero Cotton. He's also a three-time national champ, and he's also 5-0 in Bellator right now.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys, man, because they paved the road for a lot of people in Carney wrestling to pursue fighting. You know, so
Man, that's some incredible lineage to kind of
yeah,
be placed in. And again, there's there's a lot of different things. If you hadn't met certain coaches, like, I mean, going back to Coach Seals or Mr. Seals, right? And
Yeah,
then you know e- end up doing okay, fourth, and even by your own self admission,
yeah,
wasn't the just in the school, the
hmm
most elite wrestler. But I mean,
yeah.
there's certain people that you met along the way that kind of peppered in.
Yeah,
It
man.
was like it was like a
It's
forebearing of what you were going to become.
Yeah, a little bit is me, but I think a lot of it's all these other people that I've met. All these other connections that I take a little bit from everybody. I try to pick their brain, or learn what they're doing and add it to my game. And that's helped me like tremendously a lot. And whether it be wrestling and personal life and fighting, anything. You can apply it to anything. So I've been really lucky to meet some really cool people, close friends, friends in general, and family too. So it's been awesome, man, and I love it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you're in Nebraska, right? Was there a little bit of obviously, you want to get you want to get out of California just to see
Hmm.
something different. I was the same deal. Like I grew up in Inglewood for the most part, and I was just like I was just tired of seeing what I was seeing at the time in Inglewood. Inglewood's completely different now,
Exactly.
from when I grew up. But like now, I mean, then I was just like, let me get out of LA. I just wanted to get out of LA and moved up to Bakersfield. Um,
Damn,
but
Bakersfield, huh?
yeah,
That's a change.
that's a
That's a change.
change.
I've been
It
up there
doesn't.
for a couple of tournaments, and there ain't
Yeah,
much to do. There ain't much to
It's
do.
it's not California. Like it's not California. It's
Yeah.
technically California, but it's not. Like
Yeah.
nobody's sending postcards like, "Hey, greetings from Bakersfield." Like that
So you were
doesn't
a
happen.
roadrunner?
Yeah, they've got
Yeah.
Roadrunners. Yep, that's
Nice.
CSUB.
No,
Yep.
is that where you went?
No. I
No,
went
no.
with my wife. Like this,
Okay.
all of the stuff that you're seeing now is on a Inglewood High School education.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Hey, that's all you need. That's all you need, man.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah. You
And
don't
that was
gotta go to college to be successful
yeah,
nowadays.
I mean, to me, that was a doctorate of hard knocks, right? The school
Hmm.
of hard knocks.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say I'm a doctor of thugonomics. That's John Cena's gimmick, but
Yeah.
but the thing about it is like that was completely different, right? So even though you wanted to get away from SoCal,
Hmm.
the adjustment to Nebraska is absolutely different. So
Oh yeah,
did you
yeah.
have an
Completely different.
adjustment problems there, or
Not really. I mean, it was my first time living alone, so that was pretty cool. You get all this freedom, you just the only way I can talk to my friends is over the phone and FaceTime, and but yeah, it was really different. Like I remember, I got there, it was cool because my roommates were wrestlers. So I had three roommates, Bryce and Keith. I mean, two roommates, Bryce and Keith. And yeah, the first time I met him was when I was signing the lease at the part, like at the place. Like I was signing the lease, and I was like, "Yep, this is who I'm living with." And they're cool guys, love them to death. But as far as like the weather and just being alone, I mean, I had people to talk to, so just you get to meet a lot of people in Nebraska. Nebraska, pretty nice people, so the winter sucked because I remember the first time I experienced a storm, I just went with like a hoodie, and yeah, I just went to class with the hoodie, and on my way back, I hit this storm, and I was like, yeah, no, I need to get a raincoat, but um, no, being on my own and going to school, focusing on school, wrestling, uh, doing little jobs here and there really taught me to be independent, by myself, and pretty much be a man, so it was definitely a cool experience, and I'm glad to go back and fight. A lot of people are gonna be there, so it should be fun. Yeah,
that's absolutely
it should be a good night.
That's absolutely
Hmm.
brilliant. Now, my sketchy artist 99 says, "Take what works and discard what doesn't," and that's
Yep.
coming from Coach Eric Paulson himself, the
Hmm.
great Eric Paulson,
Yep.
and the good brother Melvin
Yes,
Wells
sir.
Jr.
Magic Crew for life.
Yes,
Mel, what up, Mel? OG.
there you go. And again, I've been trying to work Mel coming onto this show.
Yeah, you should get him. You should get him. Mel, get on there, man. You need to get
Yeah,
on here. You
Just
get on
saying. I'm just saying. So, I mean, eh, you're there in Nebraska. You're kind of killing it. You have great lineage to kind of fall from in terms of where you're going. But did you know that you wanted to fight, whether it be in high school? Did you know, like, I'm going to take my wrestling and I'm going to parlay that into, fight,
no,
or not? Not at all.
not at all. So, like I said, I like boxing. I like watching boxing, and I always want to do boxing, and then wrestling, and then once you get into wrestling, you always watch UFC. You always watch UFC fights, and I was always into watching them every weekend or whatever. I would watch them, and then so I wrestled 2 years at Kearney. I didn't get to achieve my goal of being a national champ, Division II national champ. So my last year, I was still going to school. I was a grad assistant, and I was going to school. So I had no more eligibility, so it was done. So I was getting kind of chunky there, I was just lifting, getting big, and it just wasn't enough. Like I wanted something to compete. Like I still had that competitiveness in me. So like just lifting weights and running was not doing it for me. So there was a local gym there that's run by Richie Barajas. It's called Kearney Combat. It's one of the best gyms that's in Kearney right now for MMA. So if you guys are out there, check it out. Shout out to him because he really helped me a lot, in my 2 years that I was with him, a year and a half that I was with him. But I just remember I went to check out a jiu-jitsu class, and he's like, "Hey man, you're good. Like you're good on the ground. You should keep coming." So I kept going, and then 4 months. So I came back I was already training October, November, so 2 months, and part of December, and then we had winter break. So winter break, I hit up Joey, and I was like, "Hey bro, like I'm training now." I was like, "Can I go check out your gym?" And he's like, "Yeah, bro, come through." And then like he talked to Ben, he talked to Coach Paulson, and they're like, "Yeah, bring him in." So then on winter break, I go, and then, dude, I just loved it. Like I think my first class was Coach Paulson, and I think it was a grappling day. So yeah, he was just super cool. All the stuff he was showing, and then he was recording like that same day. He was recording me and Joey doing some drills, doing some throws and stuff, and then he's like, "Yeah, man, just keep coming in." And then the next day, Coach Ben was there because I don't know what he was doing that he wasn't there, but he was there the next day. And dude, it was sparring day too. So like I went straight with they beat me up. Like I remember there's this guy named Jay Martinez, and he freaking chopped my leg down. Like they beat it. Like my leg was bruised. I remember Coach Ben threw a spinning heel kick to my leg. And like, yeah, it was just fun. I loved it. I loved the grind, and I just loved the way that they had their team set up. And then Coach Ben's system, So after that, I came back. After winter break, I came back to Nebraska because I still had school and stuff. And then one of my friends was gonna fight for a belt in his hometown, which is in Scotts Bluff, where I debuted too. And he's like, "Hey man, they're having this fight card. You want me to tell them to get you on?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck it." I was like, I've been training for 4 months. I was like, the plan is gonna be, try to touch him on my feet, take his ass down, and then just maul him, ground and pound. And that's basically what I did, man. I pretty much had January, so we had like a month and a half till the fight. Just train, did it, and then yeah, I think I got a second round TKO. Yeah. Oh, they should have stopped it in the first, man, because this dude's face. I was just hitting him so much that his face was so purple after, purple and red. But oh well. But
Fuck.
yeah, I fought there, and then after that, I fought in Lincoln for Dynasty Combat Sports, which is the promotion I'm fighting for this upcoming month, or this at the end of this month. And so shout out to Dynasty Combat Sports, shout out to Train, Henry Enns, and Scott Johnson with Twin J. Thank you, sir. And so I fought there. I got a baseball bat choke. I actually learned that move on YouTube. Yeah, dude, I learned that shit on YouTube, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. And the dude taps. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take it, And then my third fight, I fought for them again. I actually fought in a baseball field, so it was an outside event. And they had rain that night, so they kind of switched us over to like the main event. So we were like in the later of the day. So that's kind of giving me a feel of what a main event kind of feels like, you know. So I fought a pretty good guy there, and I won a close split decision win. And then after that, I had another fight scheduled in October, but my opponent pulled out, so I ended up just moving back to California, man, because I knew to get to where I want to be, I had to come back and be here around my family. And then I just fell in love with CSW, just like, combat submission wrestling. It just fit well with my style because I checked out Black House once, and then I also checked out Roofer Sport, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong; they're great gyms, but
Yeah.
I just felt home, and I felt like I had family at CSW, and that's all it's been right now, man. It's I've been there 2 years now, and it's been nothing but a blessing. Coach Ben's been on us, ever since pretty much this whole team's really started. And I'm just excited, man. I'm excited for the future, because all these dudes that are training with us, they're hungry and they're animals, man. They're dogs, they're dogs. So I'm
Rottweilers,
excited, man. I'm excited.
Rottweilers, but Coach Ben will say you guys are Badgers, and
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
absolutely you fucking smack that Badger
He
around.
calls it the Badger effect, Yeah.
Oh
He
no,
calls it the Badger effect. The Badger effect definitely sticks, man. Mean and dirty. That's our style. Mean and dirty.
yeah. That, again, I'm so fortunate to be friends with all of you guys. I will never say a
Thank you.
crossword because I
Yeah.
ain't stupid enough. My
Yeah.
goodness. But there's again so many parallels, right? Not really knowing whatever. You win your first wrestling, match, your wrestling meet at 14, right?
Yeah.
Not, I mean, 4 years. I mean, 4 months in, it's a lot, but it's also not a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and then you come in mall, right?
Yeah.
So you
And the funny thing
debut.
is, my parents were like, dude, we sent you to go to school and get a degree. Now you're thinking about fighting? They're like, no. And because I remember I called them. I was like, hey, I'm going to be fighting February 24th. I was like, save the date, I'll send you guys the link. And I'm training for this fight, so it's going to happen. And they're like, all right, whatever. So then, but they watched it, of course, on the live stream, and they were just like, they just loved it. They were just like, man, he can do this, So they've been nothing but supportive this whole time. And, my whole family, my immediate family, and then, all my uncles and stuff like that, they're really supportive. So, it's awesome. It's awesome to see how much love and support I have behind me. And, I'm excited to go out there and perform for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, again, there's so many, if not, not to say that you wouldn't have been down the path, but there's so many points where it could have been different, right? Where, if Mr. Seeley didn't seek you out, right? If you hadn't won your first,
Yeah, exactly.
your meet, right? You hadn't moved away and, won your first fight, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one, again, baseball choke finish. Next fight, you fight in a fucking baseball field.
Yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah.
This is like,
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this is
yeah.
movie shit. And then you're going back. You're going back to fight for Dynasty again. Like, this is some movie shit.
Yeah. No, it's been an awesome journey so far, man, and I'm just excited to keep going on, keep going, and putting in work, and see where it takes me. I want 2 UFC belts, one on each shoulder. So, that's the plan, man. That's the plan.
Well, it worked pretty damn well for the first guy that said exactly that thing. So,
Exactly.
and then the next guy after that, and then
Yeah,
the next woman that after that. So,
yeah.
I mean, fucking
Putting
call
it
your
out there,
shots.
man. I'm putting it out there in the universe so people know, and it happens. It's gonna happen.
1,000%, which my sketchy artist says exactly that. CSW allows you to grow physically, mentally, and
Hmm.
spiritually.
Yes,
It's a great
sir.
place to be.
Yep.
Absolutely. And
Shout
that's,
out to Kenny, man. Thanks for listening.
yeah, shout out. Is that who that is?
Yeah, his name's Kenny. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Sorry if I got that wrong, but I think it
no.
is him.
Okay. Well, I'm sliding in the DMs because we're getting you on here too. So I'm just saying. And Scott Johnson says, "Badass El
Yes,
Machete."
sir. Scott Johnson, Twin J, baby, Twin J all day.
There it is. There it is. You know. So, I couldn't agree with you anymore, Scott. He's absolutely a badass, right? So I mean, well, it's kind of crazy. Even when you trained, in jujitsu when you're out there in Nebraska, as a wrestler, right? Your whole thing is like not to be on your back, right?
Yeah,
So did
exactly.
you have any kind of like it can kind of be disorienting, right?
Yeah,
And
at first it was kind of a trip, because it's just like, because I actually did a jiu-jitsu competition before my first fight, just because I wanted to see what it's like. Um, and I think I took like third in that one or something. I don't know what, but I think I submitted one guy with a baseball choke again. There, it worked there too. Yeah, and then the other one I lost by like, I think I lost by like points or like, I don't know, some points, but I didn't even know what the point system was, because he didn't tap me out, and so I was like whatever. But as far as getting used to jujitsu, it was kind of weird at first, but I mean, you're comfortable on the ground, so you get used to it. I mean, yeah, you get used to it just because, resting, you're controlling, and of course you don't want to be on your back, but, over time you get used to it. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So now you're back at CSW, and that's kind of a crazy thing, right? Where maybe it's because I just watched Coming to America last night again,
yeah,
right? But essentially, you before you. I mean, during your winter break, right, from college, right, you go to
yeah,
CSW, right, and you're like, this is where I fit,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And then you got to go back to Nebraska, right? So you kind of have to leave your girlfriend behind,
Yeah,
and you're married to the game because you
yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah,
again in Nebraska,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
and then you might diddle around, and then you go back, and then you
mhm.
end up, being in this like union with CSW, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
how good was it to finally come back? Like, you knew early on that this was the place for you, right? But now you have experience. You had fights. You had like a submission tournament, a jiu-jitsu
Yeah, yeah,
tournament, where again you didn't even know the rules and you still placed third, right?
yeah.
So
Hmm.
you're coming in with a lot more polish and everything. But
Yeah,
even still, I mean, that doesn't put you to the top of the class because there's
no,
so
no,
many
no.
other people that are doing it exactly what you do but better,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
so
yeah, I definitely got humbled when when I got to CSW. I just like my striking is something that I had to like really focus on. And shout out to Coach Dale, man. He's been blessing my hands and getting me confident with my hands. And I've been working a lot with him since I've moved back because I moved back in November of 2018. So I trained, and then we had a couple guys fighting on the Spar Star in January.
yeah,
So Joy, it was a couple of us. It was like Joey, I think Theo Choi,
yes,
Nick. Nick had just
yeah,
joined the team too, so he was
yeah.
on there
I
too.
was there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I ended up. I remember I just told Coach Ben like, "Hey man, I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight." And he's like, "All right then." So they finally ended up getting me an opponent for that January card of 2019.
Yeah.
Um, so I lost a really close. Well, I lost a split decision again. I
Hmm.
think it was just me getting my head. It was my first fight back here, and then. It was my first fight here, and I had a good crowd. And then I got tired, dude. I got tired, and I just couldn't control my breathing, and then that exposed other things. And even though I controlled most of the fight on top for the most part in some rounds, but judges saw it the other way, and they gave it to him. And then after that, I pretty much didn't fight for like 6 months, 5 months, because there would be like some kind of fights, but then people wouldn't like accept the fight. They would pull out or whatnot, so it wouldn't work out. And then also, Coach Ben just wanted me to get better at my striking. He wanted me to really, develop a little bit more. And yeah, I started going with Coach Dale, 3 times a week, and that really helped a lot. And then I got to fight again on July 6th, I believe it was, for Spar Star again.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting a face crank, or I believe it was a face crank, but it looks like a rear naked choke. In like a minute something. So
Yep.
that was pretty cool, because I lost a split decision, and then I went back to my finishing ways, So I went in there and I finished the fight, and that was cool. And then after that, Coach Ben kept me active. So I fought in September. In September, I fought for Tracy Hess, KO
Yep.
Promotion. Shout
KO
out to him, man. He
Promotions.
has a good show for the Amis, and I had a couple opponents, but they all ended up pulling out, and then finally they got one, and I ended up winning the title that night. Me and Ethan ended up winning the title that night, and
Yeah.
Troy got the one too. One of our guys didn't go their way, Zach, but it's all right, And then after that, I defended my belt again in November. Won another unanimous, and then after that, I fought in Spar Star, which was my last fight. So
Nice.
I got that finish, and then I just been on a unanimous, but fuck that, man. I'm ready to go back to my finishing ways, just like my first amateur fight, and go in there and make a statement, man. Show them who the fuck El Machete is, and just get this fucking violent finish. I send Coach Ben my goals, and one of them is I want violent finishes only. So whether it be TKOs, fucking knockouts, submissions, whatever, just show violence. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm bringing in February 27th. So tune in. Fight TV.
So okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. All right, talk to us about Dynasty MMA. I want to know more about the promotion. I want to know, the deets of when it's going down, and it is streamed, right? So we can purchase this on the Fight TV app, where there's a ton of MMA, ton of pro wrestling, everything. Download the app. I've got like $50 worth of charges.
There you go.
Yeah, just saying.
There you go. But so Dynasty Combat Sports is run by Andrew Train Lee, and then Henry Ems as well, and Twin J Scott Johnson. He's also a big part of it. And they just sent me a message yesterday, but this will be their 87th event. So
wow.
Yeah, this will be their 87th event, and they're based out in Nebraska. So they pretty much put shows all over Nebraska. Mostly the West Coast part would be like Kearney. East part, sorry. So it'd be like Kearney, Lincoln, Omaha, and then like Syracuse, and I think there's a couple other. But yeah, man, it's a great promotion. I fought for them twice. I fought for them at Pinnacle. That was a really cool event, because the UFC actually went there to have their first show for
looking for
Nebraska.
A fight?
Yeah, Nebraska. That was their first event. It was in Lincoln. So when I saw that, I was like, dude, I fucking fought there. Like that's pretty awesome. Of course, it wasn't as packed as how a UFC event would be, but just being there under those lights, it was awesome. So shout out to them. I'm glad they were able to get me an opponent and put this fight together, and I'm excited. I'm nothing but confident, excited to show my skills and. Get this finish. Get this finish for Coach Ben, Coach Paulson, Coach Dale, Coach Mike Villarreal, my strength coach, and my team, man. My coach has been craving a finish, so that's what me and my boy Nick are gonna bring at the end of this month, man. He fights the day before me, so gonna be tuning in and watching him get his fucking violent finish, and then I'm gonna be doing the same thing the next day.
No, that's a weekend of violence for the Badger crew.
Yes, sir. That's all we bring, mean and dirty.
And it's an international flavor too. TJ, Tijuana, and then Nebraska. That's cool. But the places where in Nebraska where this promotion essentially puts shows on. When you mention those four names, so you talk about Lincoln, you talk about Omaha, great wrestlers. All of those, Kearney, Nebraska, great wrestlers. It's it's synonymous.
Is out in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes, just synonymous with great wrestlers. if you're gonna have a show in the Midwest,
Yeah,
that's or just
exactly.
in Omaha,
Yeah,
I mean, just in Nebraska
Iowa.
alone,
Yeah. Hmm.
those four cities right there, you got like eight.
Yeah.
No wonder there are 80 some odd cards down the path because
Yeah.
like that's
And they've been pretty active because I was out there in was it November? No, it was December. It was December, right before Christmas. I went out there for a couple of days, and I got to go to a event. You know, they had an event in Omaha, so it was cool. Like I was able to. It was my first time seeing live fights again after since February, since Fight Club OC.
yeah.
You know, so I was able to watch those fights, and I was just like, "Fuck, dude, I need to just come back here and fight because I know this promotion. You know, I think they can make it happen." So I got in contact with them, and they just had a show in Omaha again this past weekend. So they're pretty active, man. Like one of their slogans is "We don't get tired." So they keep putting on shows. So that's great for them and great for us. Because it gives us a platform to show our talent. So
Oh
it's
my
awesome.
gosh. No, absolutely. And that's super cool that you obviously grew up in SoCal, in Santa Ana, and then went out to
Montana.
Nebraska. Yeah, and it's like it's essentially you're a hometown boy of two hometowns, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're as much Santa Ana as you are,
yeah,
Kearney, Nebraska, right? And it opens up where at a time where there's not a lot of stuff opening up, right?
yeah,
It gives a nice set of eyes to kind of look at, and not just to go up against SoCal talent or what have you. I
yeah, yeah.
mean, that is going to elongate, I feel, your career. By, I mean, let's say it's all wrestle heavies. You think you're an awesome wrestler, you got wrestler with various versions of hands and everything like
Yeah,
that, and then to be able to
everybody got
test
different
yourself.
styles, man. Yeah,
Yeah, man, this is so. I mean, I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm literally gonna put it down on Fight TV
yeah,
right now. Like, purchase it because
yeah.
there's an extra credit and what have you
Exactly. There
to
you
get
go.
earlier. So get in
Appreciate you,
early.
man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Always gotta support it. You gotta support my boys, dude. Like that's it. Which I gotta, man. I'm thinking like you're kind of got a foothold in Nebraska.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got a team that needs fights, and you're fighting
yeah.
for a promotion that puts on a lot of fights.
Yeah, I was trying to get more people out there, man, but it's just the flying, and then
Yeah,
but hopefully this, like I said, I'm hoping this, like me and Nick, we open this platform where more of our teammates can fight, and because I'm just excited to see him fight and my other teammates. Like I see him putting in the work every day. We all train like professionals. We put 3-4 workouts in a day. 5 times a week, 6 times a week sometimes. So, I hope this opens up the platform for other promotions to contact us, or nearby states that we can travel to,
yeah,
and get this shit going, man, because we're hungry, man. We're hungry, and we're ready to take over, man. CSW take over.
absolutely. Which I'm probably a douchebag for asking this because
Yeah, no,
you're
no, good.
you're in the middle of a weight cut, getting ready for this awesome show in Nebraska. But I want to know because you were just out there. You were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
out there at the end of last year, right?
Mhm.
So I know there's some great food in Santa Ana. Like,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had
yeah.
it,
My
but
mom's
so,
cooking #1 though.
there you go. The undefeated.
I
Hashtag
don't go eat
undefeated.
Mexican food nowhere else but my house.
That's it. That's it. So, give me some of give me the deets about Nebraska's like eatery, because like that's what I want to know. Like,
I
what's the
mean,
go-to?
in Kearney, there's this like place called Cunningham Journal, and they have this really bomb ass burger. It's called a Juicy Lucy, and it's like a patty, and inside they put the cheese, so the cheese is on the inside. So when you take a bite, it just like farts of cheese out, it just drools. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I definitely had one of those when I went back. So I had one of those, and then pretty much they have. I mean, steak. It's a steak state, So there's so much amount of good steak everywhere you go, and but yeah, I think that Juicy Lucy is pretty much #1 thing. And then when I was out there, I was homesick, so I would try to go to some Mexican restaurants, but the closest one was like 40 minutes away. That was good. Yeah. Because the ones in town weren't really that great. So I had to travel to my friend's hometown to get some good food. So, but yeah, I would say steak is the biggest thing, and some barbecue, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Damn. And I mean, that's the Midwest. So bison, is that a thing?
I'm not. I never tried it out there, but I did try like deer meat, and then just. I mean, there's a lot of cattle, so I mean, steak is pretty cheap out there. Any kind of meat is cheap out there. So yeah. Mhm.
Right on. That's tremendous. Now, obviously, this fight after a literal year of
Yeah,
not fighting.
basically. Yeah.
I mean, you say violent finish. Are we gonna see a return of the baseball choke? Are we gonna?
No,
How
no.
does this go?
I mean, I'm trying to just get a finish, whether it's fucking, submitting him, TKO, whatever. But I really don't want a submission, man. I want to fucking go out there and put this dude out. Like, I just want to be in his face and just, take him out. Whether it be with freaking hooks to the body, whatever, drop him and then just finish it on the ground.
There, that
Yeah.
is, man. I can't wait to see it. I
Whatever
can't.
opens
No,
up, I'm coming out there, man. Badgers
that
don't stop, so that's what I'm doing.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So obviously, Rich, there's been so many people that have helped you
Mhm.
get to where you are, not just in this fight camp, not just professionally, but personally as well. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man.
All right, yeah, damn. All right. So yeah, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my family. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. They're super awesome. Then it would be my coaches, Coach Ben Jones, Coach Paulson, Coach Dale, Coach Mike. All my other coaches, Coach Silva, Richard Barajas with Carney Combat. So many coaches. I've had so many coaches. So shout out to them. For all they've instilled in me. Shout out to my sponsors too. Scott Johnson with Twin J. We got Financial, Exit Financial, Primo's Auto Repair, Savage Ruthless. Who else? I made a little list just so I wouldn't forget. Tree Cycle, Tanner with Tree Cycle. Shout out, gang. Gina's Insurance, Quiet Trees, and shout out to my management too. Jason House with Iridium, Jacob, Jeremy. Shout out to them. They've been nothing but great guys, and I'm just glad to be part of a awesome team, and see where it goes. And most importantly, shout out to my team, man. Because if it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. My teammates, Jacob. I've really learned a lot from him. I've been mostly his training partner for a lot of his fights, but this past fight I was pretty much his training partner, and he's been helping me out a lot. I try to pick his brain as much as I can. Joey Dorado, he's my freaking partner in crime. We travel, we ride to practice together. We're always doing stuff, and then my boy Nick, he's coming out fighting February 25th or 26th, I believe, in TJ. So shout out to him, and nothing but good skill to go fucking kill this dude out there. Ethan, Drake, Brandon, Alandria, sorry, Trent, Curtis, Mo, Izzy. There's just so many. So yeah, man, I'm just really happy, for them. And shout out to Dynasty Combat Sports too, Henry. Thank you guys. And most importantly, shout out to you, man. Thanks for having me, and appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Dude, the
I
pleasure's
think
all
that's
mine.
it. I hope I didn't. If I forgot somebody, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the Dale that we mentioned, and I meant to say it before, is the great Dale Roybal.
Yeah, Coach Dale Roybal. Yeah,
Yeah, so shout out to
shout out to
him. And
him, man. He's been really helpful in getting me confident with my hands, and like I said, he's been blessing my hands since I've been here, and I'm just excited to show it. Same thing with Coach Ben, man. He's been nothing but a blessing, and then not just for me, but the whole team. Just the way he carries himself, and like I said, the Badger effect, the way he pushes us every day, and he just wants nothing but the best for us, and he's there for us every day. So I want to get this finish for him and for my team, and for everybody else that I've mentioned. So, thank you.
Yes, and shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Miranda because
Thank you. Yep.
real MVPs.
Yeah,
He
appreciate it.
raised a good one in this one here. But
Thank you.
for those who want to follow El Machete as he goes into the Dynasty Combat Cage, where
Yeah.
can they find you, good sir, on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at El Machete underscore no El underscore Machete 714, I believe, and then Richie Miranda on Facebook, and that's pretty much all I have. And go subscribe to my guy Adam Woods, according to Woods, on IG, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. He's got you guys covered with all the MMA stuff. So make sure you guys give him a like and subscribe.
Damn right! I couldn't
And
have
this is
said
the
it any better
300
myself.
show, right?
300 show.
Sparta.
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 We got El Machete doing Sparta kicks over here.
Yeah,
What time it is? You know what time it is. So go ahead and go on any social media and go ahead and subscribe to According to Woods podcast. Go to Fight TV so you can see this man do what he does better than a lot of people. And support a great local MMA promotion out there in Nebraska. So Richie, thank you so much, my man.
Thank you, sir.
No, the pleasure's all mine. And if you don't take Richie's word for it, I don't know why you wouldn't. He's El Machete for a reason.
I'll come chop you down. So
there it is. There it is.
I got it tatted right here, bro. Right here, Machete.
There it is. But if you don't take my word for it, if you don't take Richie's word for it, here's Professor Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure